What can you find inside? A sack rat's back?
Oh! What did you do? Hello, fellow heroes. Look what I've got here. What emotions does this small critter unearth within you? Happiness, joy, fright, lust, or nothing at all? Come on, there's no wrong answer. That one, huh? Well, I lied! None of these options are right! I lied because this is what they're all doing! They're deceiving you! Look into his soulless black eye! What do you see? No, not that eye! The other eye! Now, like me, you see the truth. And with that truth comes a choice. You can live the rest of your short, uneventful life in blissful ignorance, or you can listen to what I have to say and prepare yourself for the inevitable. No, you cannot fuck the rat! Vermintide 2 is a first-person co-op action game developed and published by Fatshark, the same fine people behind Darktide. Whoa.
Did you see that?
And it's a sequel to Endtimes Vermintide. Vermintide 2 took every aspect of the first game, tossed it into a cauldron and said gameplay, let's make it better. Combat, let's make it smoother. Inventory system, let's shit on it. In these games you can play as one of the 5 heroes. A battle-hardened soldier clinging to sobriety, a stoic dwarf built like an ale keg, a zealous racist with the willingness to tolerate elves barely, an arsonist grandma wizard, and cancer patient Watolgi. Their name? Uberstride 5. This game takes a clear inspiration from Left 4 Dead, and that is to throw a group of 4 idiots at the problem until it gets fixed. The formula might look similar, but it's not identical because Fatshark took a different approach with this game. Forget the conveniently placed firearm you'd find scattered around. Here, melee isn't just encouraged, it's mandatory because ammo is limited. While some heroes have access to ammo more than others, generally it's being used to take out problematic threats from a distance. The hero interactions in this game are not just good, they're memorable. Their banter is full of personality, revealing parts of their backstories while reacting to events happening around them.
Trained by Sigma!
No, I reckon it was probably the rat men, all things considered.
My thanks for that valuable contribution, Kruger!
Anytime.
But they're not just there for moral support. Every hero comes with a choice of careers, each offering unique skills, equipment, and playstyles that can completely change how you approach a fight. And at last, Fatshark thought rats alone wouldn't be enough to ruin your day. So now you're against 3 factions, all which seem personally offended by your existence. The classic Skaven because, look, it's in the title. The festering, plague-blessed worshippers of Nurgle, Rotblood tribe. And of course, the Beastmen. Chaos mutated furries who charge at you like it's Black Friday and you're standing between them and the last pack of tiny tails. It's all for nothing. You'll lose, you'll die, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to change the outcome. Like, no, really, I mean it. The events of Vermintide 2 take place during the final days of the Endtimes. It was Games Workshop's way of saying, Fantasy Warhammer isn't doing so hot, so let's kill it and reboot the whole thing as Age of Sigmar. As for Vermintide's story, it kicks off around the time the Skaven decided to stop murdering each other for 5 minutes. Historically, these backstabbing rat men have been too busy killing each other over who gets the last piece of warpstone crack to actually do anything useful. But then, a bigger rat came in and was like, hey, I can promise you a remedy for blight AIDS if you do as I say. That was enough to convince them to launch an invasion over Uberstride. That happens to also be the same town where the 5 heroes were hanging out. In the end, they got captured. Now, you'd think that would be the end of things, right? Probably, but we talk about Skaven engineering. You see, it's... let's call it unpredictable. Build a massive skittergate to bring in Rotblood armies easily, fucking explodes and half of the army gets vaporized.
What? You have failed us again.
No problem. We use not that once to fix repair it again. Yes, good.
That screw up gave the heroes just enough time to escape, setting the stage for Vermintide 2. What you're going to do is visit key locations and kill those big baddies called lords, which are responsible for the renovation given to the Imperial Fortress.
Hunger!
Then you destroy the big skidder gate to stop the incoming army and take down Rasknit, the big rat at the beginning that also contributed at forming the Pack Swarm, a contract that brought Skavens and Rotbloods together. So what is the deal with the Beastmen? They are just a byproduct of chaos, and when they sense an orgy they will invite themselves whether you like it or not. Everyone is built different, and they are the types who insist on being the center of attention, the loudest in the room. Most of us would simply ignore such a buffoon, but in Vermintide it can get a whole lot worse if you don't take care of those special snowflakes. These enemy types are randomly spawning during each mission, can be marked, and are anything but subtle about it.
Listen.
Each one will try to get to you, but in different ways. Some turn your screen green, others are there to disable you. And then there's the sad excuse of a Sakrat whose entire purpose is to be a piñata when the game doesn't glitch. Most of them are pretty straightforward, just walks towards you. But one of them, the assassin, is absolutely cracked. Picture a rat so juiced up that he makes a hyperactive toddler on sugar look calm. They will either zoom back and forth at Mach 5, defying logic and jumping at you with your back facing towards you, flings itself like those slingshot toys, and either lands on the Sienna standing behind you or in a pit. Elites are even scarier than bosses. That's because of two reasons. Did you know that one of the leading causes of death in Uberstride isn't drinking or friendly fire? It's in fact overheads from elites. They've mastered the art of converting your green health bar to red. You'll develop PTSD from seeing someone casually raise their hand. And the second reason? Plague monks. They're the skunks of Vermintide, deceptively unimposing until they shriek in the distance. Then time itself seems to freeze, after which your eyes will start to scan the whole screen for their green robes. If you are new, they'll teach you one lesson. Whatever you're doing, healing, reviving, breathing, it doesn't matter, kill them first. For the worshippers of chaos, most of them are tolerable, though stacking multiple rot shields at once is annoying, or how berserkers slide and moon jump to slap your ass from a mile away. Beastmen, I just generally don't like them one bit, mostly because of their fucking bath towel banner that buffs all nearby foes with health increase and regenerations. Hope you saved the grenade, because if they stack together, it's hard to cut your way towards the banner. But how can these elites be more threatening than monsters or bosses? They do hit hard and have attacks that can fling you around, but if they are alone, they are telegraphed and easy to dodge, with the exception of With experience, you learn their pattern and it will significantly lower their threat, like how rat ogres can be locked to do only easily avoidable overheads attacks, how storm fiends will always turn to the person attacking the little guy on his back the most, how chaos spawn can be stopped from holding an ally by using a bomb or some hero abilities, how it is beneficial to dodge mostly to the left to avoid being hit by a Bilestroll unblockable attack if you're not using a shield weapon, and how you have to juggle aggro to deal damage to the Minotaur. There are many enemies to fight and just as many ways to deal with them, and so I'm going to briefly talk about the heroes, starting with Bardin Gorkson, a proud dwarf with two passions, finding Karak Zorn and drinking enough ale to drown an elf. Range veteran is a pretty decent shot and a good support, whatever that is, ammo, potions, bombs or alcoholism. Ironbreaker is like cosplaying as a train which takes and gives a lot of punishment. Just be careful not to get hit off a ledge. Slayer players though, different breed entirely. You know the types, the one who see a patrol, spam yes in chat, slam dunks in the middle of it with a bomb and somehow kills everything, or alternatively the version that disintegrates on contact with the said patrol. Truly a fine specimen. Outcast Engineer was that guy you made fun of in the middle school. It was one of the worst careers, then the most overpowered, then nerfed a few times, till it's cool, just cool,
then into the mouth.
Victor Saltspire isn't just racist, he's competitively racist. While most witch hunters would get rid of elves or bright wizards, Victor is open-minded and sees them as a necessary evil, tools to be used in Sigmar's name. Witch Hunter Captain is a good utility class that's decent at everything because of the high crit chance, increased damage on whoever is marked, and the insta-kills for man-sized enemies. Bounty Hunter carries a delete button in his pocket. It's also a pretty good elf wrangler. Shoot her once and she'll start behaving if she's a bit too trigger happy. Zealot is what happens when someone accidentally swaps out their fluoxetine for methamphetamine. You charge into a horde and the result is simple, everything dies. Sometimes including a part of yourself, but that's perfectly fine because the closer you're edging your health to the limit, the stronger you become. Warrior Priest is the result of Sigmar finally recognizing the deeds of this unhinged lunatic. Along the way you might have headbutted one too many heretics and forgotten how to use firearms, but that's a small price to pay. Your newfound concussion grants you the power to shield and buff your allies. Marcus Kruber, the most relatable and bangable character in the game. Right after Black, the mercenary is a strong, durable, and a walking moral boost. His shouting can knock down enemies and heal his allies. Huntsman players are a wild card. No frame, private profile, kills everything, takes no damage, says nothing, and leaves after winning the mission. Or goes down every time a horde happens because they're relying too much on their ranged weapon. Foot Knight. He excels in crowd control with abilities designed to mitigate overwhelming hordes and protect his team from encroaching danger. The psychological impact of the Foot Knight's Grail Knight, much like Warrior Priest, forgets how to use their peasant firearms, but in return they're blessed by the lady herself, granting the power to obliterate the enemies and complete noble side quests. The downside?
A good kill, peasant. But keep your elbow up, your guards open. Peasants, back that in.
Mind your wounds, peasant.
Already with you, peasant.
You're wounded, peasant. It's a nasty wound, peasant.
Oi, peasant. Don't step in the gas. The French.
Sienna Foigonassus is like that special needs kid left in childcare with a supervisor who's high on Doomberry juice. When Sienna asked what would happen if she played with some matches next to an orphanage, he was like, I don't know. Why don't you find out? Unlike the others, her ammo is tied to her overcharge. She can keep using her staff, but if it overheats, she'll slow down before exploding like someone microwaving a fork. Battle Wizard specializes in roasting enemies. Close or far, it doesn't matter. Pyromancer is bad to the bone because she can achieve ridiculously high crit chances if she keeps her overcharge high.
What in all of Sigma's...
Unchained suffer from bipolar disorder. She's either at full overcharge or none at all. She takes less damage, but the rest gets funneled straight into her overcharge, so she's constantly on the brink of exploding. That might sound bad, but she can do a lot more melee damage based on her overcharge meter. Necromancer. Did we go too far? Is it worth ruining friendships with the others because you picked up Necromancer? Hell yeah, brother! Look at those spooky boys go! They hit like a baby fart, but at least they added Brain Burst from Darktide. Kerillian is... oh, hold my dogwood, Sam. She's... the most competitive hero. 8 out of 10 games will have her. Why? She's the most straightforward when it comes to FPS games. Because of this, there's a large pool of people trying her out, and those who want to be the best on the team would most likely main her. The problem is that she's been stereotyped as the most selfish, for very good reason. Oh, I cannot heal you, unfortunately. Only elf can. Chances are.
She will not.
Yes. She heals herself! We can laugh and joke about how much we hate elves, but if you're the type of person to kick her off a game or grieve someone exclusively because they picked up elf, then congratulations, you're worse than her. Remember, abusing elves should be done responsibly.
You sack of shit. Yep. Back at it.
Waystalker is a powerhouse when she's not shooting teammates in the back, hoarding all the potions for herself, or being a green circle slut. Handmaiden is melee oriented and arguably the least squishy. Also, this is the career people simp for the most. Shade is a melee version of Huntsman. Both go invisible, have a high skill ceiling, and can kill everything they see, or go down and eat shit 90% of the time.
The elves, horizontal.
Sister of Thorns is the opposite of the expected elf. She can buff your team, has access to a weapon that disables everything but monsters, and can funnel enemies to your team's advantage. She's perfect. Just don't forget, if you're using her as a bot, pick Black Venom Thicket. You'll thank me later. So now that you've picked your hero, you can go play the actual game. Vermintide's difficulty system is like an onion. The first 3 difficulties are great for newcomers to learn the ropes or just relax. Legend is where things start to get serious, and Cataclysm, unlocked via a DLC, is for masochists or truly insane. It can be intimidating, hearing a Skaven bell or a war horn in the distance followed by a conga line of enemies approaching. They might look terrifying, but remember, it's 4 of us versus 1,000 of them. I like those odds. Stay together. Don't be that zealot who wanders off thinking Heart of Iron makes them invincible. You'll die, not necessarily because of hordes, but because specials target isolated players. It's like dropping the soap. Do that and the last thing you'll know is that you're being struggle snuggled by an assassin. Dying isn't the end. Take a moment to evaluate the situation. You'll respawn soon. Don't be that elf who dies once and rage quits as a host, dragging the rest of the team back to the keep. Combat in Vermintide is a dance. Block, dodge, push, keep moving, and keep your ears open. Attacks aimed at you have a distinctive sound, so listen to the cues. The better your moves, the less healing you'll waste. As for your health, you've probably noticed something in your talents called temporary HP. It's white and decays over time, but depending on your choice, it can be generated at an absurd rate if you pair it with the right equipment. Now let's talk about the real reason you're here. Bows, crossbows, shotguns, pistol, handguns, staffs, swords, greatswords, daggers, hammer, maces, spears, axes, flails, and whatever the fuck this is. The beauty of Vermintide's melee weapon is their complexity. Each has unique attack patterns and mastering them can make the difference. Take the flaming sword as an example. Its heavy chain consists of 2 strikes before looping. Remember what I told you about the temporary HP and how you can generate an absurd amount? Swing heavy once, block, and repeat. This resets the heavy chain, letting you spam its high cleave attack that also spreads fire stacks. Pair this with the confound talent and you'll be swimming in temporary HP. And with the excess generated, you can back up, use your staff to maximum, vent the overcharge by using your earned health, and repeat. And this is just one example of a weapon. There are many others you can experiment with, combining the light, heavy, and special attacks together to unleash their full potential. You earn these through the game's built-in gacha simulator. Don't worry, you just need to play the game to earn them, or alternatively you can scrap the access you gain and craft them yourself. You thought playing higher difficulties was only for bragging rights? Well, completing a mission rewards you with a crate based on the difficulty. The higher you climb, the better the rewards. Every time you level up a hero, you're rewarded with a chest. But what everyone's after are the Emperor's Vaults. These have a substantial chance of containing veteran quality items, which are fully maxed out in every stat. However, you don't get them by simply finishing a mission, it requires you to level them up. They get upgraded by collecting dice and returning books to the Keep's library. Some people pick those up not necessarily for the loot, but as an extra challenge because they fill the potion slot, one of which cannot be dropped unless you destroy it or you suffer from skill issue like me. Nobody knows what is in the books, but one can speculate that the reason grimoires reduce maximum health is because they contain content way more dreadful and grim than the abysmal desolated pits of YouTube kids. If you check all those boxes, you should get the maximum tier chest with the best loot, but no matter how much effort your team puts in, you'll always be at the mercy of Randall's middle finger.
You son of a—
And you think that's all there is to the game: running missions repeatedly, conquering harder difficulties, upgrading your loot to veteran, and perfecting the art of smacking rats without taking a scratch.
What the fuck?
For those needing extra motivation, there's Okri's challenges. Some are completed naturally, while others are like being there to wrestle a chaos spawn for pocket change. Save up enough and you can buy one eye patch from the loaner shop, or straight up buy premium cosmetic for the exact value of money. At least it's this, unlike in another game by Fat Shark. Ugh. But I'm not done yet. You still have a few game modes to play. I'll start in the order they got released. Winds of Magic introduces Weaves, Fat Shark's attempt at a competitive mode. It even came with a leaderboard that nobody cared about. And as is tradition with Fat Shark, it launched as a hot mess for a variety of reasons. Most people play Weaves for the difficulty, the exclusive frames, or just to unlock skins for use outside the mode. Despite all the shade thrown at it, I genuinely love Weaves. You should play it, and I wanna tell you why. Attempting this mode solo with boss or with randoms is straight up masochistic experience. If you're into that, it's good. I guess go for it. You don't necessarily need a group of players to have a chance. You just need someone that knows what they're doing. But once you do, it's something else, alright? Even I consider myself among those who probably need to touch grass. But let me tell you, there are players who need to eat grass. They are beyond you or me, and it's so mesmerizing to watch a handmaiden or a battle wizard dance through hordes just to get to your position and ascend their dominance. The further you go, the harder it gets, demanding precise coordination and even more skill. Weaves pushes you to the next level. Finishing a weave brings an entirely different kind of satisfaction. Oh, you finished Enchanter's Layers on Cataclysm? Not bad. Now go ahead and finish Weave 140. Good luck. Weaves don't have an AI director, so everything is preset. If you find a potion on Weave 142, that means two things. One, congratulations on making this far, and two, the potion will always be there. After a certain point, even the weakest enemies can one-tap you, but that's just the game cranking up the challenge some more. The depth of this mode is vast, and explaining every mechanic that differs from the main game would take some time. Instead, I recommend watching an introductory video by this guy. For me, Weaves is my second favorite game mode. So what's the best game mode? Let me introduce you to Chaos Waste, and hands down, I can't get enough of it. It basically turns the game into a roguelite. You don't need godlike gear to play. You start with basic, unupgraded weapons and no trinkets, but you do get all your level talents. It starts with a map featuring branching paths, each offering different modifiers. For example, extra healing, more monsters, hordes, or piles of coins. Pilgrim's coins are your run-specific currency, used to upgrade weapons or buy talents. Most of the ways you obtain them are random, but that's what makes this mode click. One run you're playing Huntsman thinking you're about to delete enemies, only to do that but also get the dupe talent early and suddenly become the team's healer. Or in another you create a build where you become the bullet hell. Who knows what you'll discover in your next run. But for now I'm enjoying committing mass genocide over the locals with my 5 seconds nuke build. That is, unless something counters me directly. Bosses can get upgraded with grudge marks that can ruin your run, like a regenerative vampiric rampart bile troll. Because fuck you. Not only that, but some levels might or might not be cursed by one of the 4 chaos gods. These range from mild annoyances like no items spawning unless you kill hexed enemies, or
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth.
to real nightmares like stronger enemies, or entire maps cursed by King Ass Reaper himself requiring an air purifier to get through. A Legend Chaos Waste run will grant you 2 Emperor's Votes, maybe 3 if Ranalds feels generous. The whole expedition takes longer than regular missions, but it's hands down one of the most enjoyable experiences you'll have playing Vermintide, and also the most reliable way of farming Emperor's chests without abusing deeds. Speaking of abusing, when else am I going to talk about heroic deeds? Heroic deeds isn't technically a game mode, it's an item that offers a mission with difficulty modifiers and a guaranteed reward. Normally a deed disappears after use, but under certain circumstances, most of its restrictions can be bypassed, letting you play any difficulty and any map. But I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Some of you might be upset that I even mentioned this exploit, but Fatshark actually patched it out, and people lost their shit. The real outrage came from the fact that you couldn't use it to spice off Cataclysm runs anymore. In patch 2.2.1, Fatshark straight up said, added an exploit that allows players to customize their difficulties and map choices. Odds are it will stay this way for a while. Need I remind you how long it took them to let you use weave weapon skins in the base game? Back then, a former Fatshark member said, judging by the suggestions, finding a way to obtain them that will be fun for you all and fair can be quite a task. There's something we'd want to release with the fanfare they deserve. Obviously not for 50 shillings. They didn't want you to just buy them with normal currency. You had to earn them differently. Alright, understandable. So what was the method they came up with? What was this?
Quite a task.
I'll break it down for you slowly, because it's very complex, okay? You open ranked weaves. Play at least 1 level to unlock essence to buy and upgrade your equipment. Stop playing weaves. Instead, go to quick play and farm essence from normal matches. Head to the boiling pot of lean and unlock the weapon you wanted a skin for. That's it! The unparalleled minds at Fatshark took over 5 years to let you use a weapon skin you already crafted in weaves. Quite a task, they said. For anyone out there still hoping that deeds will get reward, we're talking about Fatshark, the same studio that spent half a decade figuring out how to let players equip the 1000 degrees knife. Anyways, there you have it. All the game modes in Vermintide, something for everyone while keeping the game's co-op, action-packed horse-slaying essence intact. What? Hold on a second. Hello? No, I don't want to talk about that mode. What do you mean I have to? Okay, fine, but next time we're eating out, I can take whatever I want, okay? Alright. Well, there's another game mode, and it's a pain to even think about it.
Oh, fuck yeah! This is the shit! Kill me now!
Okay, let's get this over with. I'm not fond of Versus, a game that's been out for 6 years, which can pit you against a team of glue-sniffing Dutch Spice Twitch mode gods. Shouldn't even think about having a PvP mode. Vermintide is at its core a co-op game. It draws inspiration from Left 4 Dead, a game that was originally built with Versus mode as its main focus. Sure, by release Left 4 Dead included both modes, but its development was shaped to work both with versus and campaign in mind. Meanwhile, Vermintide, yeah, it didn't get the same treatment. Instead of a natural integration, it got content shoehorned into it, leaving us with an unfinished and unpolished mess.
But it's free and they're adding more content for co-op. Why do you care? Just ignore it.
So we should just accept a flawed game mode and pretend it doesn't exist if we don't like it.
Just give it time. Vermintide 2 wasn't great at launch either.
And considering how quite a task even basic quality of life updates seem to be. Wait, did that bomb not explode?
Yes.
I'd bet one of my nuts that by the time this is fixed, no one will care anymore. People have begged for years for better bot AI. You know what we've got?
Sucking on each one of those tootsie.
And Lingering Flames, a strong but balanced talent in co-op, yet utterly busted in PvP because you can just spam it around corners for free kills. Fat Shark solution? Disable it. No tweaks, no replacements, just off. Wow! The maps had to be altered for versus, and only a handful made the cut compared to the many levels available in the campaign. Some careers are so underpowered in PvP that picking them feels like an act of self-sabotage. Slayer has no access to range weapon except throwing axes, but they're slow and easy to dodge, making him a pretty sad career. Necromancer got severely nerfed when we talk about her soul staff. You try to take down a special, and after soul bursting them once, they'll just stand there unimpressed with more than half their health left and you with an aneurysm. Man, I love the soul staff so much. I like it that you cannot fucking kill them with one soul burst. Did he just survive 2 soul bursts? What is the point? You want me to use a different staff? Why not simply pick up a different career like Battle Wizard that can firewalk in, start reviving and teleport out with one of our career modifiers? Or even better, Pyromancer, which probably has one of the best career skills in Versus. If it fucking works, half the time it just brushes against them like a warm summer breeze. Speaking of jank,
Holy Sigma!
let's talk about hook rats. In co-op, they're manageable. In versus, remember when I told you how your heart stops when you hear a pack of plague monks approaching your location? Think about that, reduce the number to 1 and make it even more terrifying. They'll grab you so fast and you'd be a fool if you tried to go one-on-one with a hook rat. They sometimes grab you from angles that defy the laws of physics, and they will quantum teleport you inside a wall or under the map. You'd think jumping behind a wall might save you from an enemy's attack, right? In Vermintide, they are more like suggestions than actual walls. Your enemies will hit you through them like they don't exist. So how does Versus work? You move through the level, complete objectives, and get to the safe room. Points are awarded for progress and heroes left alive. The system encourages speedrunning and abandoning teammates that don't pull their own weight. Let me explain you. In Left 4 Dead, you get rewarded for killing survivors earlier in a run, because each one of them gave points based on the distance from the safe room. In Vermintide, if one teammate died, let's say halfway through the level and they reached the safe zone, it will count as if they were with them all along except for 10 points, which is how much each hero is worth if they make it till the end. If you try to bring your co-op mindset in Versus, trying to be altruistic, you're going to lose. It feels like a different game, and honestly, playing Versus was the catalyst that made me appreciate weaves. And you know what? I had more fun doing that than playing Versus. I'm not saying you shouldn't play Versus. Be my guest, play it. There's effort, I'll admit it. Still, I can't help but feel like PvP isn't worth it because it's been released too late and it's catering to the more competitive side. It brings out those sweaty tryhards who play to win at all costs, ruining the experience for everyone else.
Just join the Discord.
They say,
Play with friends.
well, most of my friends are busy getting domestically abused by Baba in the basement or binding their controls to play JRPGs one-handed. And let's not forget the matchmaking, or lack thereof. I honestly don't expect a matchmaking system considering the daily active players, but you're either steamrolling the enemy team or getting obliterated yourself. You'll be stuck with bots, or people who quit the moment they lose the first round or before the first round even starts. Meanwhile, your enemy team, full team of gods, and yes, I call them that because that's what they are. Or you can be in the said team, facing clueless players like a Sienna who blows herself up before the match even starts. Versus rewards you with in-game currency, frames, weapon illusions, and poses. You know who else loves frames and has a mustache made out of white nasal hair? This guy. I kept coming back. I played, I raged, I cried, and I played again. But then I simply stop. There are things in life we'll never achieve, and in my case, I will never have all the frames. No matter how badass that assassin frame looks, I'm not risking losing my hairline. Well, what remained of it. But here's what keeps me up at night. I pray, and I pray. Versus stays buried in Vermintide. Fat Shark, you fulfilled your ancient promise to bring Versus to Vermintide. I'm so glad that we got Versus before Skibidi Toilet and Fortnite. But if you think about adding it to Darktide, I'm joining Cord. When I saw first the unused elites and special frames in Darktide long ago, I thought, is this the groundwork for Versus? Thankfully, they turned out to be part of the Green Protocol update added alongside the PS5 release. For now, I'm at peace. For now.
Иди нахуй, пуц, понял, блядь, долбоёб нахуй, бежит он, сука, рашит, блядь, конча тупоры. Ау. Ау.
Midget bitch. Bomb is gone. Away. Cannot reach. Not never. Not now.
Hello.
Some men are born to purpose. Perhaps I am such a one.
Well, that's a miserable way to live.
Not at all.
You fucking bitch! You fucking sack of shit!
Man, I'm dead.
Huh? Okay.
Anyone see Gruber just standing still?
Oh, so I need to...
Did you see that? He went into the ground there.
Oh my god, what did you do? You touched him, you killed him! Vermintide 2 was my introduction to Warhammer, and even though I also enjoyed Darktide quite a lot, this game keeps pulling me back for days or even weeks. But this game suffers a much deeper problem. And what is that exactly? Mojang, Starbreeze, Fat Shark, Arrowhead, what do they all have in common? They're all Swedish. Their approach to game development, it's painfully slow. When they do finally update something, it's usually either half-baked or a feature so basic it should have been there from the beginning. I'm no game designer, but adding 2 biome-based chicken skins, fixing a day 1 bug, or simply learning from your past mistakes shouldn't be that hard. But I digress. After all these years since the game's release, I can safely recommend it. Chances are you'll enjoy its gameplay loop, smooth, responsive, and satisfying melee combat, as well as some of its strongest aspects: ambience, scenery, storytelling, and of course, music. Of course, not everything is perfect. Playing with bots? Yeah, not ideal. There's a workshop full of mods that can patch up some of the game's shortcomings, but others are locked behind the modded realm, which doesn't carry over progression to the official realm. Fat Shark used to look over and approve mods, but as you guessed, they stopped. If you want to play with bots that aren't brain dead or fight against Slanesh Chaos Warriors, you'll have to give up on progression. Still, solo or with friends, Vermintide 2 is a game worth your time. And if you remain till the end to listen to my ramblings, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, do all the things that would please the YouTube overlords. And if you really want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon. Anyways, I'm Puts, and feast your eyes on this. This bad boy can fit so many shotguns in it. I'll show it off some other time. Until next time.